A new Android tablet hitting the market designed to score big with gamers. Here to report is Eric Sofji for the Wall Street Journal. Hey, Eric.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm well. Now, if I was thinking about this today coming in on the train, if I'm looking over the shoulders of my fellow commuters on the trains, the ones that aren't asleep or the ones that aren't like trimming their nails, and you people know who you are, the reality is that there aren't always people engaged in the work mode with their tablets. I see a lot of gaming. How does this new device address that?
Well, this one actually is, it's got an interesting approach. So it looks like a regular tablet, Android tablet. And then what you do is you have this controller housing essentially that you lock it into, and then essentially this gives you sort of sticks and buttons, kind of like you'd have on a real controller, like a console controller or maybe like a PS Vita. So this isn't actually good for that kind of stealthy gaming, as it were, but it's good for if you're home, or I guess if you don't really care, if you're not, embarrassed about it.
I was going to say, yeah, that device definitely outs you a bit as a gamer if you sort of sling it into that. All right, so let's say you're comfortable with your gaming self, right, and you're willing to sort of slide into this device. What's the price on it, and how much weight do these add-ons add, Eric?
Oh, actually, that's what's great. It's incredibly light, and it's actually more comfortable to sort of hold it for longer times because it gives you kind of like a molded grip. So even if you're just like watching, like a video or something, it's good for that. It's $249, so it's about $50 more than the sort of equivalent Android tablets. But what's great about it is that you're essentially paying that much for the controller, which you would pay for other sort of controllers you can hook up to a tablet. But I mean, what's great about it is that essentially most of these games you have to use kind of virtual joysticks and buttons, and this gives you sort of a real console experience with all these extra real buttons. And it's great for a lot of games, especially for like the violent games that I like. I'm ashamed to say, but that's really where it's best for, because then that's really like that console experience.
All right, let's
go ahead. And I should point out one thing that's great is that there's no goofy logos or lights when you take it out, so it's not like a lot of other gaming devices. You can have this at work, and no one's going to know your secret, essentially.
You sound like you're a fan of this. Let me ask this. If you're going to pretend to do any other kind of real work, how does it stack up to other tablets in terms of like storage, processing speed, those types of things?
It's absolutely identical to what sort of Kindle or Google has in this space. And so that's the thing, and it runs all the same apps. So you're really not losing anything by using this. You're just gaining this pretty incredible gaming experience if you're willing to pay that extra $49.
Do you think, Eric, that we're going to be seeing other designs like this hitting the market, sort of trying to address this same reality?
Well, we're seeing a lot of Android-based gaming devices, but most of those are actually trying to kind of emulate consoles, and that they're for working with the TV, for example. And there's one device coming out that's a little smaller, that's also kind of a handheld device that also works as a tablet, essentially. But this is the first one I've seen that kind of gives you, the best of both worlds, that you can have it as its own tablet, really works perfectly as an Android tablet, and then you can get that sort of extra experience. And I got to say, I've been playing this sort of constantly, for the past couple of days, and I have a PS3, I have other stuff around, but this thing, I just keep coming back to it.
All right, Eric, get back to your gaming, to your work. Thanks so much for being with us. All right.
Thanks.